What's going on, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, February 17th, 2025. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are great. Hope you had a great weekend. This moon in Libra has definitely been stirring things up, opposing Venus, which is about to go retrograde. Mars is about ready to go direct. So much has happened during this Mars retrograde. So many things have been cut away. Okay. Once this Mars starts to come online here, once we get into the end of, February, going into Pisces season, we're going to start to feel our vitality really start to kick up. But this moon in Libra, which hasn't been common since the nodes have been here in Pisces and Virgo, right? So this moon passing through Libra without the nodes here, the moon's like, I'm finally catching a break now that, I don't have to cross the south node every time I move into Libra, right? Well, with Venus in shadow getting ready to come to retrograde, and this moon making this opposition and crossing these territories that it's had to deal with Pluto and Capricorn, and the nodes, in Libra. Of course, this brings up the Mars retrograde in Libra with the North Node in 2015 with Pluto and Capricorn. I mean, a lot of these themes that have built up to this moment when it comes to our relationships, our values, what we believe in, how we relate to other people, how we relate to the world outside of ourselves, which is Aries, right? So when we're talking about Libra, it's the world outside of us. So, a lot of conversations with relationships can come up today once again. I mean, this Uranus and Taurus, which is Libra ruled at 23 degrees. This moon in Libra being Libra ruled. Venus being the dispositor of Uranus and the moon passing through all this today. It's like relationships are a massive focus, and they have been through the weekend. And with Chiron too, this moon coming off of its square with Mars and opposing Chiron. There's just so many mixed feelings. I feel like this is triggering people and people acting out in strange ways, strange emotional ways with this Mars retrograde in Cancer. This is also making people act out in strange, sort of unexpected, just odd behavior with Uranus here. This is the odd angle. This is, inconjunctions or odd angles or quincunx, where I like to say inconjunct. But, there's just things that we're just not sure about when it comes to our relationships. Of course, Venus retrograde. This is when relationships and our partnerships and, people start breaking up out of nowhere, left and right. This is, this Venus retrograde in Aries is going to be pretty gnarly for relationships, so if there's relationships that are one-sided, right, where it's all about me, I'm doing what I want, and there's no balance, we're going to be feeling these themes start to come up, and it's going to reflect through the people that we're closest to, that we spend the most time to, in social situations. So, we really have to be diplomatic with things today. We have to find solutions. And I think if we're looking at things just from, the same old routine, we're not going to find answers. If we're looking at things from, if we're thinking outside the box, to say it plainly, with this Uranus and Taurus and this moon in Libra, we could really find ways to move through some of the difficult aspects emotionally that's been coming up in relationships, or, where we feel disconnected, and where just relationships have felt severed. We've been out of the North and South node in Aries and Libra for, about a month now, a little over a month. But this Venus retrograde in Aries it's like, oh, here we are again. We're not done. We're not done clearing this shit out. But once we get through this Venus retrograde in Aries, okay, and the Venus comes with Chiron, it crosses all those degrees that we saw with the eclipses in Aries last year, with the Mercury retrograde, with Chiron and the North Node conjunction, this Venus retrograde is now fully amplifying that, and this is what's going to seal the deal in the relationship. This is it. And it's, what's best for both parties. What's the most diplomatic, responsible outcome? Saturn's now direct. We have to make responsible decisions. Or Saturn is now out of shadow at 19. Saturn went retrograde at 19. So here we are. We're ready to make commitments. Not just handshakes on how we're going to navigate forward and do the Capricorn thing with Saturn and Pisces. But these commitments are based spiritually. If they're not, it's going to fall out. It's not going to be there. It's not going to stand the test of time here with Saturn and Pisces, or timelessness. It's not going to fall into the timelessness of, what Pisces or Neptune or the 12th house represents. Timelessness, beyond time, beyond reality. And Saturn and Pisces, is teaching us. It's like, a lot of these commitments now that are based purely on faith and belief and, not necessarily the truth or the facts, but it's like, we all have our own individual understanding of what our own relationship to, what our divine connection is. Saturn is forcing us to look at that. And now with Saturn coming into territory that we haven't felt, and for some people, I know there's young people here too, that, you weren't even here the last time Saturn was here. So this is the first time you're feeling this, If you were here in the mid-90s, you remember this, this moment, what this feeling was. So, when it comes to our belief systems in our relationships, they're changing. When it comes to, with this Uranus and Taurus too, it's like we could be just all of a sudden, in and out of Venus retrograde, in and out of situations and scenarios, super, oh, this is the one. Oh, this is going to fix the problem. It's like, no, the Saturn and Pisces coming out of shadow now is reminding us that the things and the lessons that we need to learn are not going to be solved by the things outside of us, right? It's internal. It's internal. Neptune at the end of Pisces, With Neptune at the end of Pisces, I'm seeing this a lot, where it's like, where at the beginning of Neptune and Pisces, we saw this beginning of the spiritual awakening, and it started in this kind of new agey thing. Now it's like totally manifested into this real thing of like, wow, we've been in complete spiritual warfare, and most of us have been asleep, and the ones who, were calling it like it is have been called crazy, and now it's like, well, the ones who have been called crazy and demonized and, crucified, essentially, it's a different story. We're talking, it's a complete flip of the script. We knew that was coming. We knew that was coming with Pluto and Aquarius, So, I think just really what's coming up today is we're starting to feel Saturn moving direct and out of its shadow. There's a lot of weight and a lot of heaviness, trudging through that Saturn retrograde, Saturn square Jupiter, which we're not done with. Jupiter's now direct too, so it's on its way to finish its final square with Saturn. So we don't have all the facts, we don't have all the details completely, which Jupiter's trying to expand and gather it all, But once Saturn gets into that final square, we're gonna have a whole new understanding of this reality we've been dealing with, and the confusion, and the confusion within ourselves is just our own unique individual being, and that's what's coming up today with this moon trying to get through Libra. It's like, man, we just finished the South Node. Now I got to deal with Venus retrograde. So, we're not done. So there's still a lot of relationship focus that's going to happen. The moon's going to make a nice positive aspect to the sun as the sun is leaving Aquarius. By tomorrow, we're going to fully be in Pisces season, which is one of my favorite times of the year. I love Pisces season. This is going to be a very impactful Pisces season with Saturn, Neptune being at the very end here. So I'm ready for that. Mercury in Pisces is definitely like, it's been really hard to just focus in reality. It's like I've been really catching myself getting lost in the daydreaminess and getting lost in fantasies. And it's fine. It's fun. It's fun to, go into that space mentally and actually feel that. It's like where the non-physical and the physical, where those lines get blurred. And it could be fun. It could be exciting. But at the same time, you know, Saturn now coming out of shadow, it's wanting us to keep it real, you know. And Saturn is really trying to help us get good at, you know, at zooming in and zooming out, right? Being physical, being in the physical, and being able to detach and be in the non-physical to observe the physical, right? I think that's Pisces mastery. That's Neptune mastery, right? Is to be able to see, you know, the physical world from outside of itself, you know, and understand the relationship between the two and be able to, you know, bring things from the other side into the physical world and vice versa. You know, if you have 12th house placements, you understand this very well. So anyway, go to my website, alexskylesastrology.com. My 2025 readings are going to be available till March 1st. There's 2 slots left for that price. So my school's available. Classes are available for April. There's 4 slots left out of 12. If you want that, there you go. There's my one-on-one astrology school on my website. So the links are down below in the description of this video. So I will see you all there. Once again, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.